Hello and welcome. You're watching Science Monitor, where you get all the updates on recent happenings in the field of science and technology in our country and also across the world. Well, we will get you your weekly roundup of all the exciting science stories. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. Finance Minister presents Budget 2017-18. Many new programs to be launched. Not just to heat, solar power can cool too. Tool from toy. Paper centrifuge by Indian origin researcher to analyze blood. World Cancer Day, spreading cancer awareness on 4th of February. And in our In Focus segment today, we will explore the fascinating world of forensic investigation using DNA fingerprinting technology. On 1st of February, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley presented the Union Budget 2017-18 in Parliament. Now, like every year, the budget focused on various aspects with special focus on ensuring employment for the youth as well as eradicating tuberculosis. What has the budget in store for science and technology? We'll see in this report.
After much speculations and debates, the budget for the financial year 2017-18 is out. The budget was presented to the Parliament by Finance Minister Shri Arun Jaitley on 1st February 2017.
I rise to present a budget for 2017-18.
And like every year, many eyes were on the science and technology related aspects of the budget. While in-depth analysis of the budget allocations for science and technology is still awaited, the year will see an overall hike in the funds allocated to various departments dealing in science, technology and related aspects.
I have increased the allocation for scientific ministries to rupees 37,435 crore in 2017-18.
The department-wise fund allocation for the previous and this year are Department of Agricultural Research and Education, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Earth Science, Department of Health Research, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, Department of Space. The budget also focuses on promoting education with an innovation fund for secondary education and accreditation of colleges and creation of additional 5,000 PG seats per annum.
Good quality institutions would be enabled to have greater administration and academic autonomy. The government will lay down...
The budget also promotes optic fiber-based internet connectivity across Indian villages, digital education and digital pension distribution systems, among many others.
On broad gauge lines will be eliminated by 2020.
Solar heaters are something which we all are familiar with. But how about solar coolers? Yes, while DST has been striving hard to deploy solar-powered light and heating units in rural areas, the organization has now come up with an experimental prototype of solar cooling system to address rural India's refrigeration needs. More details in this report.
Speak of renewable energy, and the first thing that comes to mind is solar energy. And speak of solar energy, and the first thing that comes to mind is electrification and heating. But solar energy cannot only be used for lighting and heating purposes, but for cooling as well. This is being demonstrated as a unique laboratory-scale prototype of solar coolers by the team of Professor Pradeep Datta from Indian Institute of Sciences, who has developed this technology under the aegis of Department of Science and Technology. The solar cooling technology is based on the use of low-grade thermal energy, preferably below 100 degrees Celsius, instead of relying solely on electricity. To achieve this, researchers have used a silica gel and water absorption system which can operate within 75 to 85 degrees Celsius, easily attained by solar collectors. The system is designed to generate cooling through flash evaporation of saline subsoil or seawater at 5 degrees Celsius.
Here the idea is how to use natural resources like renewable energy such as solar collected heat to use for cooling. So we are not only saving electricity, but we are using something which is just naturally available. So from a sustainability point of view, this is a wonderful idea of using solar heat to do the cooling, and especially in places like rural applications like chilling of vegetables or milk or even preserving medicines. This would be something that one can use instead of electricity-driven refrigeration or air conditioning unit.
The resulting steam is then subjected to multiple rounds of thermal compression to produce the cooling effect. While generally, electricity is used to power the thermal compression process, researchers have designed the system using silica gel and water absorption, which can operate with 75 to 85 degrees Celsius heat. This energy required for thermal compression is supplied by the hot water from specially designed solar collectors. While the researchers have developed a large lab-scale prototype of the instrument, the team has also set up a scaled-up rooftop unit. The solar cooling systems, which are cost-effective and energy-efficient, have been developed to address the refrigeration needs of rural India in terms of short-term preservation of agro-produce and life-saving medicines. Based on the cost-effective design and initial performance data, the investigators believe that the scale-up unit has the potential to be deployed and commercialized in the future by making a product in collaboration with an industry.
We all might have played with a whirl gig. Yes, that little button with a looping thread which rotates on pulling. But how many of us would have actually thought of converting this simple little plaything into a diagnostic tool? Well, yes, that is exactly what some brilliant Stanford bioengineers have done. They have created an inexpensive human-powered paper centrifuge based on whirl gig.
A centrifuge is perhaps one of the most important tools of a clinician's diagnostic kit. The instrument is designed to spin fluid samples at very high speeds and separate the components of the fluid into various layers based on their density. Hence, centrifuge is used extensively to diagnose many diseases including such as malaria, African sleeping sickness, HIV, tuberculosis, and many others. However, centrifuge could be an expensive instrument depending upon its features and utilities, and what's more, viability of electricity. But what if one could separate the components of a fluid using objects from day-to-day life, say of paper, twine, and plastic? This is exactly what a team of bioengineers from Stanford, led by Assistant Professor Manu Prakash, has accomplished: the paper fuge. The paper fuge is a frugal innovation suited for the undeserved regions of the world. But what is more interesting is that it is inspired by a common toy, the whirligig.
From a technical spec point of view, we can match centrifuges that cost all the way from $1,000 to $5,000. But this is a tool that requires no electricity, no infrastructure. You can carry them around in your pockets for a price point of 20 cents.
Inspired by the spinning toy, which comprise a button which rotates on a loop when pulled, the team has designed a capillary of blood on a paper disc whirligig and was able to centrifuge blood into various components, spinning at speeds of 1,25,000 rotation per minute and exerting centrifugal forces of 30,000 Gs. Surprisingly, the centrifuge could separate blood plasma from red cells in 1.5 minutes and malaria parasites from red blood cells in 15 minutes. The team has undertaken extensive computer simulation studies along with its safety. Fuge comes as a new revolution in low-cost diagnostics and takes us one step closer towards ensuring accessible and affordable healthcare.
Cancer, one of the largest global health burden. Now, cancer is affecting a large population of the world today and can affect any part of the body. Now, in order to spread awareness about cancer, now 4th of February every year is celebrated as the World Cancer Day.
Cancer is today one of the largest health burdens. According to statistics, incidence of cancer in India alone is 70 to 90 per 1 lakh population, and it is estimated that there are over 2.5 million cases of cancer annually, with over 8 lakh new cases and 5,50,000 deaths occurring each year. Despite all the advancement in science, scientists are yet to find the exact trigger for cancer, though it is understood that cancer is caused by uncontrollable division of cells, which give rise to harmful lumps of cells or tumors. Cancer cells invade the whole body and draw the nutrition of healthy living cells, thus killing them. Cancer is known to afflict almost all parts of the body, and there are over 100 different known cancers that affect humans. According to experts, the 5 most common cancers worldwide are lung, breast, bowel, prostate, and stomach. With rapidly changing lifestyles and increasing environmental pollution, cancer is today a growing menace to human health, necessitating knowledge about cancer very crucial. In order to raise awareness of cancer and to encourage its prevention, detection and treatment, Union for International Cancer Control has declared February 4th every year as World Cancer Day. The primary goal of the World Cancer Day is to significantly reduce illness and death caused by cancer by 2020.
Traditionally, cancer is disease of elderly. So as our age is increasing, so as the age increases, there are chances that in our genes some defect will occur because of aging. So that's why cancer is increasing. And other thing is that because of change in our lifestyle. Main motto of this day is that to make the public aware about the cancer, because once you know what is the cancer, then you can prevent it, and if it happens, you will come at the early stage.
The tagline for the World Cancer Day for 2017 is "We Can, I Can." The theme explores how everyone, as individuals and as a team, can do their part to reduce the global burden of cancer. Despite cancer evading complete cure, thanks to the advancements of medical science, cancer can be effectively managed if diagnosed at an early stage. Hence, being aware of the early symptoms of cancer is vital. So, this World Cancer Day, let us all work towards a safer, cancer-free world.
Well, time now for a very short break, but don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly with more science news. Well, let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
Proving India's scientific acumen once again, an Indian-origin researcher Manish Garg has led the team at Max Planck Institute of Quantum Optics, which for the first time has successfully used laser light to generate very high-frequency electric current inside a solid material. This is a new twist in electronics, as conventionally, such currents are produced using high voltage. The new technology will allow researchers to use light waves on semiconductors to produce electric current, and this technology will vary fast on semiconductors to produce electric current. NASA observed 31st January 2017 as a day of remembrance, paying tributes to all the researchers and astronauts who have laid down their lives for the advancement of science. NASA paid tribute to all the astronauts who lost their lives in the three infamous tragedies, namely Apollo 1, Space Shuttle Challenger, and Space Shuttle Columbia. In a bioengineering marvel, scientists at Caltech and ETH Zurich have developed an artificial skin capable of feeling temperature. The artificial skin has been made from pectin, a compound found in cell walls of plants, and uses a mechanism similar to the one used by pit vipers to sense their prey to detect temperature changes. The artificial skin can not only be used for biomedical purposes but also in various applications. Pong Dam wetlands of Himachal Pradesh is a favorite of migratory birds, but in a rather unusual spotting this year. Greater flamingos, a common migratory species in India's coastal areas, have been recorded for the first time here. According to the 3-day census of waterfowl species conducted here, the rare bar-headed geese was also spotted. In a nutshell, more than 1,25,000 birds of 93 species have been spotted in Himachal Pradesh's Pong Dam wetlands.
Well, about 30 years back, the scientific world saw a breakthrough technology called DNA fingerprinting, developed by Alec Jeffreys. Now, over the years, the technology has caught up, and the DNA fingerprinting is today widely used in forensics to solve crimes and in paternity tests. So what is the DNA fingerprinting and how does it work? Well, that is what we'll explore in our segment In Focus.
The Romanovs were the last imperial dynasty to rule Russia between 1693 and 1917. During the Bolsheviks' revolution, all the members of the royal family were brutally murdered and buried in an unknown location. For years, researchers dug for the remains of the lost Romanovs. Finally, in 1991, some remains were exhumed, which was believed to be that of the Romanov family. But with no living member, how could they confirm it? This was when the Duke of Edinburgh, who is related to the Russian royal family, gave his DNA sample. And indeed, the remains belonged to the lost royals. Coming to India, in 1996, Priyadarshini Mattu, a 25-year-old law student, was found raped and murdered in New Delhi. DNA samples retrieved from the crime scene helped the Delhi High Court convict Santosh Kumar Singh, the prime suspect in the case. DNA fingerprinting was developed by Sir Alec John Jeffreys, a British geneticist, almost 30 years back. And since then, the technology has caught on like fire. The principles are simple. Every human cell contains the genetic material called deoxyribonucleic acid, or the DNA. With this technique, the DNA is isolated, regenerated its copies, and matched with the sequence of suspect. However, there are specific DNA patterns called profiles, which varies and are unique to each individual. Each of us inherits a unique combination of patterns from our parents, and this can be analyzed to give a DNA profile.
DNA fingerprinting is the idea that you're able to take DNA from a crime scene that somebody may leave behind, like at a rape scene or something like that. Take the DNA from that crime scene, mix it with various chemicals, run it through machinery, and develop a profile that is unique to you as a person, a series of numbers. And then you compare that to your suspect.
DNA fingerprinting technology helps forensic experts in tracing family lineage and solving crime cases. And the evidence can come from anywhere. The hair or sweat in a hat to the saliva on a stamp or cigarette butt. In India, in 2005, the Criminal Code of Procedure 1973 was amended to allow for medical practitioners after authorization from a police officer. In 2005, India's Human DNA Profiling Bill is being criticized for several disadvantages.
54 countries now have passed legislation to create the DNA database of known criminal offenders and have implemented that. The problem with India is they have yet to pass the legislation to go to that second level, which is the databases. So your database, you have zero in your databases because you have not passed the legislation that authorizes your government to set these databases up. And as a result, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity to match crime scenes to the database and solve these crimes and prevent more crime.
DNA fingerprinting is also largely used to establish paternity of a child. Let us see a more recent and interesting case. When Ebola was spreading panic across the world, a 26-year-old Indian who arrived from Liberia carrying a certificate of being cured of Ebola was tested positive through the DNA signature technology. The detection was made through a gene specific to Ebola, which was present in the fluid sample of the carrier. DNA fingerprinting has so far proved to be a eureka moment in the history of both life sciences as well as forensics. Needless to say, such a database may go a long way in solving the crimes in the country, in particular, atrocities against women.
Well, that is all in this episode. We keenly await your feedback and suggestions for our show. So do share with us. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is it from the Science Monitor team at the moment. Don't forget to tune in Rajya Sabha TV for the same show next week. Thanks for watching.